Hello, everyone. Welcome to the international version of the FPV podcast. We are continuing our coverage of India. We got another great pilot that's coming onto the show. We love hearing about our racing pilots over across the pond. But before we introduce him, Elvin, say hello.
Hello, everybody. Another great opportunity here to do this. And we're looking forward to it, getting to know all the pilots from India. Another great pilot is here with a great name and a great way to figure out why.
There we go. And his explanation of his FPV name is probably the greatest explanation I've seen to date. And we've been doing this for 2 years. Okay, so I'll let him explain it, which is awesome. But Ritvik, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Ritvik. I am a pilot from India, and I compete in the Indian Drone Racing League, or short form IDRL. So as Alvin and Maya mentioned, my call sign is Ouroboros FPV. And for those who don't know, an Ouroboros is basically a very ancient symbol of a dragon eating its own tail. And that is supposed to signify nature's creation and destruction, or life and death. And I've seen the symbol before, and it kind of popped into my head because our whole hobby experience is basically 3 stages. The first one is building, the second is flying, and the third is crashing. So I symbolize it with an Ouroboros because it's the endless cycle of crash, rip, and build again and again and again.
Yeah. Yes, that's one of the great names right there. That actually locks in. You know what I mean? When you think about it, it's like, yeah, that's right. Sure do, man. Damn.
Sorry, Elvin. That name's taken. You can't take
it. Serious thinker, man. That's a serious thinker, though, boy.
That's a pretty cool name.
Thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate you being on here, and it's exciting to get to know you guys. So you're number 4 on the list, right?
Oh yeah, I'm somewhere around there. A lot of great pilots. So I'd actually say I'm lower down 6 or 7 because there are a lot of great pilots.
Definitely. And before we get into the racing, let's get into your background a little bit. So how did you get interested into FPV racing or even RC?
So I am I'm a student. I'm in my last year of electronics and telecommunication engineering, and I'm a bit more of a hand guy. I like to do DIY stuff. Building circuits. So I got into the hobby about a year back. I was looking for something to do my project on. We have a 3rd-year project kind of thing over here. So I was looking into it. I was looking to the robotics field, and I saw the whole drone kind of booming. So I started out with an F450, which I'm pretty sure that everyone starts out with. And then I kind of got wind of Sharpoo's abandoned, warehouse racing video. Yeah. And then, something clicked, and I'm like, I have to try that. And then 2 months later, I got all the parts and I'm ready to build. And then, I find out that, oh, look, there's something called IDRL, which is starting up. And, they're going to start having races. And, from that moment, since the first race I attended, I've been absolutely hooked onto it.
Definitely. That's pretty cool. It's one of those things where you see something and then you try it out and then it just has you, and then that's it. That's your hobby. That's your career trajectory. It's gone.
I mean, absolutely. It's like going up river in a different boat. It's like all of a sudden you just jump boat and go the other direction. But yeah. It's such a better ride.
Absolutely.
Yeah, now, go ahead.
Now, you mentioned Sharpoo and inspiration for that. So did you start off, you mentioned 450. Did you start off just having it as something to fly a camera, and then you decided to get into more of the smaller side for racing?
Oh, yeah. I basically wanted to interface an Arduino with the drone. So, I had an APM, and I was trying to do some interfacing, to show them a project. And, kind of got a bit boring after a while because, all 450s do is hover. And as soon as I saw his video, and I saw HD footage racing
Mm-hmm.
speed, and I was like, oh yeah, I have to try that.
Were you one of the original people to sign up for the IDRL?
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, I was a bit late to the party. I found out maybe a month before, and there were people who were helping out with organization around 2 to 3 months before me. And there was a beginner class race in the first one. So I started out with that. Since I only flew maybe a few weeks before the actual competition, I managed to get third place in the beginner race. But since then, I was like, this is something I really want to do, and I've been trying to push myself to perform better and better at every race.
Okay, so like for you, racing is kind of like the dominant thing, because like Sharpu videos are mainly more freestyle. I mean, he's more of a freestyle pilot, so
Right.
he was the inspiration, but your path is going down racing.
Oh yes, my path is the Sean Taylor path, if I may.
Hey, you know what?
Hey, that's a great path to go down, man. If you can keep that up,
Yep. And if you want him, somebody that you want to follow, Sean Taylor is not a bad person to go follow. Although,
No, not a bad.
killing 100 packs a day, though, that's a little rough, though.
Oh yes, definitely.
That's a mental stretch for many pilots. So I just want to warn you.
Yeah, definitely. Now, talk to us a little bit about your gear and also, flying in India, because as we've heard from Flying Sid, it seems like it's a bit tough to get your equipment there, and also the culture itself. They're really not used to having you guys there yet. So, what is it like for your little area of the world?
So regarding the laws, drones are actually banned completely in India. There's the director of civilian aviation has outright banned them because they're not able to regulate it. So you kind of find we try to take as little risk as possible. Going out to open fields where there isn't anyone around and fly there. And it is a bit difficult to get some things like radios. They aren't actually allowed to be imported, but there where there's a will, there's a way. We have some excellent shops, local hobby stores. They're great, fantastic people who run them, and they do everything they can to get us the best quality parts. Like stuff from TBS, Free Sky radios, everything. Everything that you need.
Okay.
And yeah, and I hear a lot of stories about America. At least people are pretty kind of anti-drone. They don't really like it. If you fly near somebody's property, they're going to get kind of pissed. But here people are actually really curious. Whenever I go flying out, and people just come by to stop, they're really curious. They want to know, what is it? How does it fly? What is the equipment that you're using? So I'm actually really happy because I get a chance to explain. People become more aware, and any kind of misunderstandings, they definitely we can clear them right away.
Awesome.
That happens here too, but it's just depends on where you're at. You know what I mean? In some places, like I go places today that I've flown for 5 or 6 years now, and I never get into an issue. I never have a problem with anyone flying where I'm flying at. People don't bother me. I don't bother anyone. And then there's some places I go where I've flown before and I've never had an issue, and then I do have an issue. You know what I mean? So
definitely.
It's just to me, it just seems how you handle it for the most part. Most of the time, we're not diving buildings and creating some kind of havoc. So most of the time we get left alone, and then there is some people that are overly apprehensive. I'm pretty sure, just like here. And then you have to deal with them accordingly, and just remember that you're an ambassador to the sport and the hobby, and you're trying to give positive drone awareness than negative, right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's right. The whole thing's about spreading awareness, teaching as many people as you can and getting them into the hobby. So that is the absolute priority.
Yeah, definitely. And we've talked to a few of the pilots over there right now, and it seems like you're all in locksteps about, trying to grow your community over there, trying to gain acceptance. And it's great to hear that because, like, over here, sometimes we're a little scatterbrained and it's just how it is. But
Yeah.
really glad that you guys are, doing this much in this short period of time because really the IDRL hasn't been around for a very long time, but it seems like you're making progress at a exponential pace. So, like, we know the IDRL has had 11 races. How has the competition been? What is your take on it?
Right.
So the competition has been really well. Like I have had the privilege of racing with some really really fast pilots, and a few of them aren't around anymore. They've moved on. But the things that they've taught me, and the examples that they set are invaluable. And we are growing like every day. We have hundreds and hundreds of members, and more joining our groups. And just a few months ago, there was this one kid who was in ninth grade, and nobody had ever heard of him. And he just came to his first race, which was last month, I believe. And that kid is so fast. He beat me. He was faster than me, and I'd never even heard of him. So there's like people just popping up out of nowhere, and everyone just coming together and supporting each other at the event. It's really an amazing experience.
Awesome. Yeah, you know what? Those kids, man, they'll get you.
Yeah.
So, like, if you say you were to go to an event, is there like a few pilots that you always look out for, either look up to, or that they're going to be hard to beat on that day?
Oh yeah, there's a group, some pilots called from Bangalore, another city. They have their own Bangalore FPV team. So I'm really good friends with them. I'm good friends with Flying Sid as well. And we always look at each other. We're kind of like the OGs.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We've been there since the first race. So we always look out for each other. We absolutely do help newcomers. So yeah, really enjoying the experience.
Cool. How far are you away from Flying Sid? I'm curious now.
Oh, he's in Mumbai, so I'm just like 3 hours from him.
Okay, so
it's 3 hours.
3 hours is a long time. I'm sorry to say. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, but that's wow. So that's over 300 miles, almost 400 kilometers or something like that.
I think it's around 250 or 300, but there's a lot of traffic in Mumbai, so it takes a long time.
Wow.
So, like, are you kind of like considered in the suburbs or like you in the country? Like, how would you define the area that you're living in?
Yeah, in the main city. I'm a little bit on the outside, but it's a bit outside. So I'm actually pretty lucky because it's kind of open where I live. There aren't really many. It's not congested. There aren't many high-rise buildings. So there are some plots of land which are unoccupied that I can just go set up a track and fly.
Okay. Hey, when you have a city that's like 3 hours of travel large, I mean, that's a very big city. I'm just saying.
That's a big.
Yeah.
That's a monster.
That's a monster city. There's a lot of people in India. We realize that. One of the things that we talked about with Flying Sid was that, getting the stuff that you need in order to fly is still a little bit difficult in India. Are you finding the same thing? Are you finding the same troubles?
Yeah. So the main things that are really difficult to import are batteries and radios. Those are always they're confiscated by customs, and it takes a long time to get them out if you're lucky enough. But like I said, the local hobby shops amazing, and they've actually they're able to secure these products so that we can get the best experience possible.
Definitely. That's pretty cool. And me and Elvin, we did an experiment. We actually went to one of your websites and we looked for like a really expensive tattoo battery. And it's like, okay, how much does this tattoo battery cost? And he gave me the number of like 25,000 rupees. And I looked it up. It's like, holy crap, that's almost $400 US. It's like who would buy that? We understand why you have different brands and you don't buy like the brands that are kind of popular over here because, yeah, that's crazy. conversion rates right there.
That's yeah, that's
Oh yeah, and I mean, I always, I see a lot of pilots sponsored by like Pulse and Thunder Power, but unfortunately, I don't think anyone's been able to get those lipos over here into the country.
Oh, I understand that. What is the radio of choice over in India right now?
Is the Tyrannosaurus 7 is probably
What was that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
the QX7, the Tyrannosaurus.
Oh, okay.
QX7.
See, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, the Tyrannus is it's popular everywhere. It's like
It's dominating. I mean, the money it's available at an excellent price, and it has just really solid performance. I can't really ask for more.
there we go. So it's like hey, you're a Spectrum guy. You can't be nodding your head like that, Elvis.
What am I supposed to do? I mean, like, I'm supposed to stand here and fight him about it? I'm not going to argue the point. I mean, that's not going to happen. Look, there's things on this planet that you may not like, and you still have to deal with, right? I mean, it's just how it is. This is how the world is.
Yep,
some things. I don't own every frame out there. I'd love to, but I don't.
There
what I'm
we
saying?
go. I know. I'm just giving you a hard time, Elvin. No, QX7 is a solid radio. It's very popular over here, and for flying quadcopters, drones, etc., it definitely does everything you need. It's a no frills, but all the features you want radio. So I definitely understand why people like them. So what would you say is like the popular setup rig right now over in India? Is there like a trend? Because like over in the United States, the trend is whatever is hyped at this current moment.
This week.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we're on the hype. Yeah, we're on the hype train as well, but we are probably a few stations behind you guys. But everything does make it over here. The batteries, parts, the whole ultralight setup kind of thing. That's also pretty popular around here.
Okay, pretty cool. See, look,
Nice.
I'm telling you, the internet is just connected, and it's like everybody likes their stuff, Now, one thing that I really do actually like to hear about is that you guys are, shopping at your local shops, and that's more by necessity than, because you want to. Have you noticed an increase in like people coming to those shops and trying to build this stuff, or is it kind of growing steadily, or is it really dramatic growth right now?
Oh no, yeah, it's growing really, really fast. As I maybe had around 100 people or 150 people last year, and now we have like over 350 or maybe 400 members now.
Wow.
A lot of people asking for advice, help with their builds. So yeah, it's growing really, really rapidly here.
Cool. So are you like trying to help as many people as you can? Are you noticing a lot of people coming up to you for advice on how to build these things, or just advice on how to, get to a competition and just, not feel like you're out of place?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've met a few guys who live in my city, and a lot of people message me. I try to help as much as possible. I do understand some concepts of the kind of setups that you want based on your prop size and your motor, your KV. So I try to help them as much as possible with that.
Ritvik, can you talk to us a little bit about the Platinum Cup that you did with what was it, Rotorush?
Right,
Yeah. So Rotorush is a simulator software, just like Velocity Drone and Liftoff. It's a great software, and they're based out of the UK. So they had a Platinum Cup, which was like their tournament, and they collaborated with 7 different countries, the organizations in 7 countries, like India. There was somebody from Russia, from Korea, and Mexico. I'm missing one, I think. Don't remember right now. But yeah, so qualifiers in all these countries, and the finalists from each country traveled to the UK back in September to race live at the EGX event, which is a gaming event. It was hosted in Birmingham, and so yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Definitely. I would definitely would want to go to an event like that. So was this the first
it
time?
had everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Was this the first time you traveled outside of India to participate in a drone racing event?
Oh yes, definitely. My first time, it was I was really nervous, but the people I met were amazing. Super supportive, super helpful. They're giving me advice. I would say I was the slowest guy there, but they were giving me advice. They're like, you gotta do it this way. You try it out. And it was amazing interacting with them. I believe the finalist from the US was Nelson, Cruel FPV. If you guys have interacted with him.
Yes, we know about Cruel FPV, so definitely he's definitely one of the fastest individuals in the United
dude
States.
Is crazy.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like if you participated in the DRL sims, I mean, he's always at the top when it comes to like time. So
What does he
Oh yeah,
do?
I've seen his Facebook posts. He's like top 3 so often.
I know it's crazy. So, like, talk to me about traveling. Was that like, did you enjoy the experience of actually going outside of India and actually having to compete internationally with the best?
Oh yeah. So yeah, so it was really fun. I learned a lot about the way events are conducted in different countries. Different cultures. The way that they come together and the way that they have their races. And there aren't many people from India, but the New Zealand and Australian qualifiers, there were I think over 30 people qualifying. So I was speaking with Michael Douglas, who was the qualifier from that region, and learned a lot, and it was great.
So did you notice any like real big differences that kind of stand out in your mind compared to what you're doing in India?
Those guys are on a totally different level. That's all I can say. The amount of practice, the amount of hard work they put in is crazy. The way they've been doing it a while, so they're definitely a notch higher. But yeah, I mean, I really do. I do really respect it. I mean, they've been putting in so much hard work, and the way, something I did notice about the hobby is like, if you're into the hobby, it's really, really easy to speak to people who are also in the hobby. You could be, halfway across the world, but you see somebody with a drone, you can start talking to them in like 2 seconds. So that
Yeah.
I was able to, everyone was just able to come together because we're all part of the hobby, and yeah, it was really, really cool.
Cool, man. Yeah, that sounds great, because that's what we want to hear. There just hasn't really been like too many like big international events in which like everybody feels like they're all inclusive right now. So we're trying to see if there's gonna be more of that in 2018. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, once you got back, from that event, like, did you implement anything new to try to improve? Because now you've seen at the global scale what the competition's like.
Yeah, so I was actually having some issues with the previous race I went to. My setups weren't running; they weren't stable. So they'd run fine. They'd run fine one week, and then I'd crash a few times, and then they wouldn't fly as well. So I have to keep changing things up. And some things I learned from the people I met is that keep your setups. Don't keep changing your setups, because you can't learn if you're always changing things. And use reliable equipment. Don't go for the next hyped item just because it's hyped. So just focus down and just fly, and practice flying smoothly, and the speed will come.
Definitely.
Yes. We call some say speed is flow, and if your flow is good, your speed is great.
I agree with
That's
that.
definitely true.
Ooh, I just made that up. Really.
All right, Elvin, you're not allowed to speak anymore. No, I'm kidding. So, like, talk to us a little bit about the IDRL events. So, when you have an event, put together, it's like, what is it like? Like, go through the entire process from showing up to helping set up, or doing the event and breakdown. Like, how is that day like for you?
So the way IDRL is set up is that we have we basically tie up with the top educational institutes in the country. And we once we type with them, we kind of divide it. They take care of the venue and hosting the pilots, and we take care of designing the track, coordinating with them to see what materials they can provide to us. And we design a track. We help them. We basically design a track and send it to them, and then they implement it. And when we get there, events are most 2 days. The first day is practice for the entire day. Get as many batteries as you can on the lap. Get it locked in, and then the next day is we start with the race, and we're able to start in the morning and finish by evening. So that's pretty much what it looks like. Every event says, and sometimes we do have a beginner race, and that's before the pro race, because we have a lot of new people coming in. So it's usually just two or 3 days.
Oh, wow. That's actually pretty long for an event to have 2 days and have just 1 day dedicated to practice. That's actually pretty cool. Wish we could do that more over here, but everybody's rushed for time. We usually try to wrap it all in like 6 hours, which ends up being a very quick turnaround, and everybody really has to be on their game to be the winner over in the U.S., I guess. Is the format kind of the same, in which you're counting laps and then you have like some sort of playoff towards the end to determine who the top 3 is, or is it different?
We do it mostly just timing based. We have like 3 rounds of qualifiers where it's usually just 3 laps around the course, and the fastest timing, the top 8 or whatever fastest timings proceed to semifinals. And then the top out of those proceed to finals. So either we don't have enough people, to do anything else. Still growing, but once we reach the level like MultiGP has, the number of pilots racing there, then we probably have to change things up a bit.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, I got a question for you. So you went to the big race? You come back, you're racing with your people here in India, and you've learned some things and you're implementing those. But have you started looking at racing as racing? You know what I mean? It's not just the normal, I'm going out to practice more. I'm talking about there's different types of flying. There's different types of things you can do, learn how to position yourself in the track or on the line. There's some pilots that fly high in the corner. There's some pilots that fly low down in the left. There's some pilots that fly right down the middle of the track. That's their best line. And if you're one of those pilots and someone's in front of you, it can create, it can mess your flying up and make your race more difficult. If you're one of the pilots that are comfortable outside in the corner and you're always high on the right side, your line may be cleaner, during the race than the other guys or the option for you to pass other people may be cleaner. So that's what I'm asking is, are you learning, that there's different places to be and different portions of the track? Or are you sticking to one section of the track?
Oh, you're right. So every race I go to, I learn something new, and I learned a lot about what I did wrong. So currently, I fly around 8 packs a day, and the tracks that we're going to fly at the next event are usually just released about a month before the event. So what I do is I have 4 gates, so I set up like a section of the track, and I just practice that over and over and over. And I see, how can I do this the fastest? Like, what am I doing wrong? Should I take this approach, or should I take a different kind of approach? And I try to pair that. I try to watch as many DVRs and race footage online that people are kind enough to upload. And I try to analyze that, and I try to apply it to what I'm doing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. Following up with Elvin's question, is there like a few pilots that you always track that you kind of mimic or try to learn from the most?
Yeah, so I love Chun Kim's flying. I really, really, really enjoy the way he flies, because I feel he practices on a tighter course, at least in his videos, and our courses are really tight as well. They aren't large and spread out like the MultiGP tracks. So his finesse of of taking tight turns and being locked in the entire time is something that I really, really want to achieve one day.
Yeah, like I've watched a lot of Chun Kim's videos as well, and one of the things that always stands out is his consistencies across almost all of his laps. Is that something you'll notice? Is that like he'll almost take every turn the same in every one of his laps? It's actually kind of amazing.
Right.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to distinguish. You wouldn't be able to tell. Oh, this is like first lap. Is this the second lap? They're all the same throughout.
Yeah.
Like from the qualifiers to the finals, it's the same.
I know, it's just so amazing. It's like they must have such a tight regiment for training over there, because
I heard that kid practices like, Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor, like, that's got to be a lot of practice.
Like 80, 90 packs a day.
Yep. It's one of those things where, like, if you watch his lines, like, his lines are great, but he knows when he needs to take a hard turn, and he'll make that adjustment, and he'll just like make it a part of like it just looks like it's correct. And it's like, that's really hard to do. I mean, there's very few pilots in the world that can do that.
But he's a great person to, there's not just him, but there's, like we said, Sean Taylor, there's Gab 707. There's a few other pilots in there that are the kind of pilots where you watch what they do on the track, because they already selecting the best lines already. So when you fly with those guys, the first if you get a chance and one of them's in the heat before you, just sit down and ride with them, because they're going to show you the best lines.
And these guys, if you, I'm sure, if you just walk up to them and ask them a question or two, they would most definitely be, definitely willing to answer it and help you out.
Oh yeah, and I can contest with that, because they talk to me.
That's funny. Now, just kind of going back to what you're doing with the IDRL, are you noticing that the venues or the institutions that you're working with, they really like what you guys are doing, and they're really happy to work with you?
Yes, they definitely are. So if we have once we have a race with the institute, we actually have a few of my friends and fellow flyers are actually do workshops as well. Where we have them pay for a kit, and we teach them the basics, teach them how to build everything up, and how to fly. So a lot of these institutes are once we have a race with them and they see what it's all about, they're actually willing to have a workshop conducted at their institute. So that's how we're able to reach out to more and more people and try to get more people into the hobby.
Now, that is a great way of doing things, and it's something that we definitely need to follow in your footsteps, which is kind of connected with these institutes, show them what we're doing, and then actually building a program around that. I mean, that's something in the United States we are kind of lacking in behind. Wouldn't you say so, Elvin? I mean, that sounds like a great plan.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Here's my thought process. The market saw an opportunity. A lot of companies saw the opportunity to make a lot of quick money in this market, and they jumped in and they did well. Now a lot of them are leaving, and it's not really a bad thing, because the market gets to see what's not hype and whether there is a chance for longevity. And what I believe is that as time has withered on, we're going to go back to those that are the original founders of FPV. They're starting to get their recognition back. A lot of guys are going a little long range and less showmanship and more back to the reason why they flew. And I think that's what's going to drive more of us back and create a bigger market.
Yeah, definitely. Or hopefully. That's
hopefully. Yeah.
That's hopefully. Okay,
Hopefully.
Ritvik, since do you guys celebrate Christmas over there? I'm kind of curious now.
It's not our biggest festival, but yeah, we do celebrate Christmas.
Okay, so I'm going to stick with the Christmas theme. So you get to have a wish list, and money's no object, and you get to put anything you want on there, what is your dream setup that you would like to have?
Yeah.
Oh man, that is a big question.
Come
That
on,
is a big question.
anything. Money's not an object.
Yeah, we're spending
Okay,
Elvin's money.
So I've always
you ain't
had
getting nothing though. I'm just telling you, you're right.
I've honestly been wanting to try one of those, those 6 or 7 inch, larger class quads, or maybe even a hex. So, I'd say I'd go for, those really large motors, like, 2408 or something of that caliber, and put it on a nice 7-inch hex frame or something, and just see how that works.
Okay. What about radio and goggles? What is your dream setup there?
Well, I've been using the X9D Plus for so long. I don't think I would be able to switch to anything else, even if you guys paid me.
Oh,
So
look at that.
Wait. I got one. I got it. So you got Hall sensors?
Yep.
So you're set. Yeah, he's set.
Yeah. Hall sensors and HD3s with the LaForge model. That's it. Or probably the Clearview model now. That's coming out, I guess, in a few months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a reliable setup.
He knows what he wants. He knows what he wants.
Well, he's got good stuff already. Listen to him. It's like he's got better stuff than I in certain areas.
Looking at my gun. No. Anyway, but
hey, you know what?
I love my focals. I can tell you that. They're to me, they're everything the HD3 is.
No, that's.
I actually sent mine to Fat Shark. I got the first batch HD3s, which had the blurry screen.
Uh-huh.
So I sent it to them, and they repaired it in like a week. So their service is excellent. Their products are excellent. Can't really complain.
No.
Cool, man.
Those that own Fat Sharks don't complain about nothing but paying for them.
Yeah.
You're paying for the reliability is what I'm starting to understand.
That's what I said that in the beginning. I had my aviators for 5 years, and I had aviators for 5 years. I don't have to say anything more than that.
Probably still working.
Yeah.
Now, in general, would you say that you can see like FPV racing or drone racing as being something big in India right now? Obviously, in February, there's going to be a big push to try to make it into like something of a next sport. What is your opinion on that? Yeah,
I think so. In a country of a billion people, I am sure that it's going to be a huge hit. I think that the event in Feb is going to help bring it out to the general public. There aren't many people who know about the hobby. There aren't many people who know about the sport of FPV racing. So the best thing that we can do right now is promote it so that it gets out to everybody. And the event in February is something I'm really looking forward to, because that is a huge step for IDRL compared to what we've been doing for so long, and having international pilots come in and race. That it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
There's a great bunch of guys coming to visit you guys, man. Some guys y'all gonna do some laughing, some crazy guys that all they eat, sleep, and breathe FPV. That's what they do.
That's
absolutely
very true. Yeah. Would you say the excitement level for the pilots are the same?
Yeah, I would.
Yes,
say so.
Everyone is super hyped.
Now, I know from Flying Sid that you guys kind of started a team in which you're trying to get together a little bit more often and push each other, try to get better. Is that something that you're looking forward to doing?
Oh yeah, definitely. Whenever I'm in Mumbai, I always do try to hook up with Flying Sid for a nice flying session, and I'm looking to try and create a small group in my city. So there are about 5 to 6 other people, who have built their first quads, and they're starting to fly. So trying to make it, a regular weekend event where everyone can, just get down to a nearby field and have a fun the entire day just flying.
Cool. What about your social media contacts? Do you have any there?
No, I'm still in the process of setting up my social media. I'm primarily a racing guy, so I really don't like putting a GoPro on my setups and flying with that.
Oh,
so I
listen to
really
this.
haven't gotten around to it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, you gotta change that, brother. You gotta change that.
Hey, GoPros are expensive,
I'm
man.
I'm like you, like what you're talking about. I mean, like you're out practicing, and you'd rather give up recording videos to increase your speed, decrease your lap times, and increase your efficiency. But what you're trying to do, that's counter what you need to be doing for yourself. You know what I mean? So like one of the things that I can, I like to teach people how to fly, and I like to teach other pilots the mistakes that I've made over time. So I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the mistakes I made was not filming my stuff and not worrying about that. And if you want to be a professional pilot, this is part of your multimedia, exposure, is part of how you carry yourself when a sponsor comes along. You know what I mean? Sponsors, like I can tell you right now, sponsors want you out front, so the more opportunities that you get comfortable with editing and displaying your skills, the better that you'll be and more profitable you'll be in the future. I know you're not looking at it like that because you're a pure racer and you just want to get out and race, but really you need to do these things to help yourself so that you can help yourself in the future. So you have to do some stuff so that in the future you'll be seen as a better product, and you can, not have to, your expenditures of your own will be a lot less, let's just say.
Yeah, that's really valuable advice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's the not so fun side of trying to get yourself to pay.
Like it, but
yeah, trying to foot less of the bill, but definitely, I would say just start a social media account just to get just for your small group. It doesn't have to be public, but just having a private one where it's easy for other people to join. I don't know about sharing your number. I kind of agree with Elvin. We don't want you to get like spam calls or anything like that.
That's the only thing I don't like about WhatsApp. Though it's like I know a lot of people that are on WhatsApp, and a lot of them are main heads of different companies, and I'm like, dude, your number is like broadcasted all over the place. I'm like, go.
Hey, some people, they don't really care, but if you do happen to create a Facebook group for your local city, definitely share that with us. We'll put it in the comments below so that you can start your own little band and grow that presence for your local area. That's definitely a worthy thing to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure thing. I will definitely do that.
Yeah, you don't have to do that. We're just saying it would be a good idea, but you
got to work on it, man. Because I'm coming to see you, man. You got to get your stuff in order.
I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Hey, you're very well spoken, so I think you'd be great spokesman for some of the RC companies. To get sponsored by them is kind of important to help foot your bill for what can be a very expensive sport. You know what I mean?
Expensive.
Yes, I understand. Very, very expensive.
Yeah, pretty cool, man. So, any final thoughts before we start wrapping up?
I guess I've said everything I wanted to say. I really thank you guys. I really did appreciate you guys bringing me on the show here. It was really fun.
Yeah. Go ahead, Elvin.
I got one more. What do you think the perspective of the world with drones coming to your area? I mean, do you value what you see outside the country coming in? I mean, as videos and stuff like that, or are you just like most of the other guys that, like, some of us don't care? Like I got a buddy who he could care less about all the hype stuff, and then he could care less about all the YouTube stuff and all the Airvoot stuff. but he just likes flying. Do you find yourself more like that or less?
Well, I really don't want to admit it, but I do tend to fall for the hype stuff a little more than I should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it is a learning experience because uh, although there's a lot of hype stuff, there does end up being some kind of logic reasoning for the hype, and sometimes there is something that does emerge that everybody seems like the whole naked bottom thing. That seemed to be a hype, but it actually seems that it seems to be something that's innovative and does save weight and also doesn't sacrifice performance or durability of the motor. So I guess things like that that do come in, that do, pop up everywhere. They can be something to learn from.
Yeah, and like I can agree to that because there's things that I do today that I didn't do before. And have changed the way I think about racing too. So I just wanted to kind of see where your mind was on open opportunities and information.
Yeah,
Cool.
I guess the final note I just say is that in the end, everything is just about stick time. If you're always flying and always pushing to forward, pushing to your limits,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you may see or whatever you may hear, it's not going to make a difference because you're always pushing yourself. But if you don't fly as much and you're always listening to whatever's the next big thing or whatever, what should you change about your setup, what should you improve hardware wise, then you're not gonna progress.
Right, you got to get out there and fly some packs.
Gotta get out there,
Lots
fly
of
some
packs.
packs. Definitely. Well, we appreciate you spending an hour with us talking about FPV, something that we're all passionate about. And we look forward to actually seeing you, everybody there in February. It's going to be an exciting time, and we're going to be there to try to promote it as much as we can to grow this as quickly as we can over in India.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do we
definitely hang out? Can you hear me?
We lost that. Yeah, we lost it. Go ahead and start again.
Oh no, I was just saying. I'm really do look forward to meeting both of you and everybody else who's coming down. I would say if you can stay for a few days extra after the event, and just have a look around. Explore. The city has a lot to offer. Beautiful place. So if you guys do have the free time, it'll be a nice mini vacation.
Nice.
You heard it, Alvin. This is like 2 times that we've heard people say that we definitely need to explore a little bit.
Right. I'm taking the hint, homie. I'm taking the hint.
All right. That is it for this week for us. We do appreciate your time, and we are done for another week.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you guys so much.